that same thing real quick on there.
Okay, I'll try.
6 versus 8. Welcome everybody, Paul here, Music Villa, Bozeman, Montana. Quinton King here, and we're checking out some baritones from Taylor. And this is exciting because Quinton's about ready to pull the trigger on one of these. I can tell you that right now. I've been watching him. He's been coming in for a few days, and he's been comparing the 6-string baritone to the 8-string baritone. So we're going to tell you all about them, and at the same time, I think Quinton's going to choose which one. He's been having a hard time because he's...
So this, I'll let you, just to dispel the myth right now, I'm not going to choose during the video. What I actually want to do is, unlike other folks who are asking to buy stuff or throw money at, what we're asking today is, me personally, I'd like your honest opinions about functionality, what you're hearing, what do you think you would buy if you were in my shoe. I'm contemplating one or the other very, very seriously. I already spent big dollars on a fancy capo that is strong enough to pull the 8-string and these big fat baritone strings down and get a good tension. Yep. So it's don't tell my wife that I'm buying a guitar yet. Please, if you know my wife, don't tell her.
So you're telling me though, whatever they say, most votes, 6 or 8-string.
What I'm saying
you're
is
going to buy the one that has the most votes.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying
let's just decide at the end of the video.
No, because what I want to do is hear the impressions. You know, the community that comments. There's a lot of great players, a lot of folks that really, I mean, they're listening and watching these videos because they care about acoustic instruments, and so I value the opinions and comments.
Okay.
And I want to consider them because there may be some things that I haven't thought about,
That's
or
true.
People that have owned these that have particular experiences.
That's a good point.
Or applications that they'd say, you know, based on what you may or may not know about me, I'm primarily a bluegrass type player. I do play some other type of acoustic music. And so with all that in mind, with the comments,
I've been watching you struggle. I've been watching you struggle
my decision. The big thing that comes down to it, right, is 6-string, 8-string.
Versus 8. And let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah,
Let me just tell you what these
Go
are.
ahead.
These are the Taylor 326 CE baritone 6-string and baritone 8-string. So baritone, first of all, let's talk about what a baritone is. Longer scale length, right? Bigger strings, and they're tuned down. They're B to B, right?
Yeah.
Which is the 4th, right?
Yeah.
4th down.
So there's your E, and if we went to a standard tuning, you can hear it's the same note.
Gotcha. So basically, you know, capo.
It's like playing if you
Capoed right there. It's
if
kind
you're
of
a bass
there's
player-
your guitar right there.
If you're a bass player, you have a low B on your 5th string, right?
Yeah.
If you have a 5-string bass. So
Okay.
I don't know. Just fattens up the low end.
It just sounds cool. I know that. Listen to that. Like it. Yeah.
They're fun to play. I mean, go ahead and talk more about the specs and
so
stuff
real
first, because
quick-
then I'll give my spiel.
Real quick, Tasmanian Blackwood back and sides. Taylor uses that a lot on these guitars with a mahogany top. So
I'm just
kind of
gonna,
like an all mahogany guitar.
I'm going to point this out that I haven't even looked at the back of the guitars.
Yeah.
I've been playing them. This will be the first time I actually
Yeah.
look at the back of the guitar, and it's attractive. But you know, this is where I'm looking right here, trying to put my fingers in the right place.
Yeah.
But they're attractive. You know.
So let's do something. You play what you would play on that. What are you going to do on that? You're taking.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do on it when you put me on. But with the deep, you want to use the bass response. It's so deep. You want to
get all like new agey on it too.
Oh well, you can do all kinds of That's not very new agey, but whenever I hear new agey, I think somebody's tapping it like this. So. It
cool.
rings for days too.
Cool.
You know what I think of is we played a
this one.
mandocello one time, didn't we? Or an octave.
Yeah.
With the paired strings, it gives me that kind of octave mandolin mandocello.
Yeah.
Thing.
And I meant to tell you, when we say 8-string, what that means is just on the baritone is the G and the D are doubled.
They have octave resonant strings.
The little extra.
Kind of like a 12-string.
So there's just 2 extra strings on here. Everything else, it's all the same. It's just they're squeezed in there. So
yeah, it provides a little bit of shimmer.
Yeah.
And it's So this comes down to the crux of my dilemma, given the genre I play, which is bluegrassy kind of stuff, is if I were to play in the context of other musicians, bluegrassy type musicians, would I still be able to place individual note leads, and would it sound weird? You know,
can your brain see? My brain wouldn't be able to go. If someone's playing a regular like G bluegrass, where do you play?
Well, what I do is I put a capo on it.
Oh,
that's why I bought that fancy capo.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it really comes down to the single note clarity or specificity when I'm playing single note leads. I mean, this one is, you can hear it, it's just a big guitar.
Yeah.
Versus when so let me do the single note stuff on this guy.
And then here, and I do want to talk real quick about that capo, because what we found out. And at the end, Quinton's going to play both of them back and forth. He'll go back and forth, and he'll play a bunch of stuff.
We just came out of a cold snap here.
And then you can get the comments in there at the end of this video. But real quick, before we end it, you know, we struggled with capos because, you know, those two little octave strings, they're really hard to get.
Well, the thing is, you've got larger baritone strings, right? The diameter of the this is my hypothesis, is that the diameter on the baritone strings is thicker. Yeah. You still got these very skinny octave resonant, sympathetic resonant strings. And so most of the capos we tried, when we would clamp them down and we would really put the tension on them, there was not enough tension, even on some that had adjustable tension, to depress the fat strings enough that the skinny strings would ring true. Right. They would be kind of muted because there wasn't enough. I don't know. It just didn't work. But then we stumbled upon this capo, and there's a lot of capos that come in this design that have a clamp on the top. That a lot of folks will.
We didn't try all of them, but this was the one that worked.
This is the one that we had in the store,
made by D'Addario.
Right, and this was the one that we can crank down enough so that we can. And maybe I'll pull it back a little bit into the middle of the fret.
And capos, a lot of times, too, it has to do with the radius of the capo, the radius of the guitar.
Right.
There's all kinds of things.
Now, of course, it's pulling it. You'd have to retune.
That one's much better.
So I can get up the neck and play in keys that I would probably normally play in for a standard guitar. Yeah. What's interesting though is even when you're moving up into these
guitar realm,
the sound is still very different. And I don't mean just the 8 string, even on the 6 string, because of the thickness of the string. I think the tone is just different.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say is that when I've been coming in here, and if you're like me and you find acoustic guitars that you like, particularly if you're stuck between two and you're trying to make a decision, I spend a lot of time just playing them, annoying Paul and the other guys in the guitar place. But Paul set me up with a Bose S1 Pro, which is, if you haven't seen these things, they're really cool systems. I own one, and it's got
tiny little PA system. It'll do a mic and a guitar, or two guitars.
And it's got bass, treble, adjust, reverb, and then you can Bluetooth it. But the thing is, it sounds really fat. And where these things really open up that depth of this tone is when you plug it in. Acoustically, they sound really fun. And they sound, but when you plug it in, it's a whole different world.
It's big, and it sounds best in that Bose S1, honestly. We plugged it into a few things.
We've tried some of the other acoustic guitar
Yeah.
amps, dedicated acoustic amps, and I
Yeah.
don't think they had the depth
Yeah.
to really capture what the baritones can deliver.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. It really comes down to
Well, we should let you do your thing here. Play a little bit on both at the end. Send in your comments. Let us know.
yeah. Tell us what you
which
think.
one? Because I saw you doing two things the other day, and I was like, I switched back and forth. I went, oh, you got to have the 8, and then you did something on this, and I changed my mind. But
Yeah,
they're both cool. You should just get them both, actually.
don't have enough space now,
all right.
and I want to stay married, so
All right. Well,
I'm gonna have to sneak this one in as it is.
cool.
So
Well, that's the comparison between the 6 and the 8, and Baritone from Taylor. Very cool guitars, very unique. And Quinton, thanks. We'll do your thing at the end here. Check us out,
Yeah.
musicvilla.com. Thanks for watching.
yeah, please share some comments. All right, so I'm about to play the 6-string Taylor baritone and the 8-string Taylor baritone. And again, sincerely, if you're watching this, if you're a fan of guitars, if you play, or particularly if you've owned one or both of these, I'd be very, very interested. Please leave a comment. I'm kind of torn. 6-string is very familiar as a standard guitar player, but it gives a nice, deeper profile of tone. The 8-string has, of course, the shimmer of those paired octave strings on the D and G strings, which is a neat effect if you're just goofing around solo, but I'm not as sure how applicable it would be if I was playing in the context of duets or other folk music, unless I'm just strumming some rhythm. Again, because I play primarily acoustic bluegrassy music, I do a lot of single note picking. And so when I start playing them, maybe give an ear to the single note stuff and tell me what you think of, is it too distracting hearing the octave strings in that single note type stuff, especially when it transitions from single strings into those 2 paired strings. Please, any feedback would be greatly appreciated. I am likely going to buy one of these, and will very much appreciate the feedback. we go. Just some goofing around on these two, kind of give you an idea of what I would probably play on them. Please let me know what you hear, what you think, and if you've owned one of these or you have any feedback on what you would buy. I will certainly be taking all of that into consideration because I love these guitars. They're both a lot of fun. This is a real challenge for me to try and make a decision. And so I appreciate any feedback you can leave in the comments. Thanks.